With the release of Godzilla and Kong: The New Empire, I thought it was the perfect timing to do a Monsterverse ranking. So these are just my opinions. Your favorite probably won't be where you want it to be, so just don't hate on me for it. As I said, my opinion, not the definitive list. Let's get into it. In 7th place is Skull Island, the Netflix anime show that came out in 2023. It is set before the events of Kong Skull Island, and for me, I think it was really cool to see some more information and dive deeper into Skull Island itself. It was something that wasn't really touched on as much as it could have been in Kong Skull Island, so it was nice to see more creatures, the scale of the island, but overall for me, I just don't really prefer it as much as the live action projects, but it is still really cool. The animation is definitely super unique. Overall, if you're a fan of the Monsterverse, I would give this a watch. In 6th place is Monarch: Legacy of Monsters. Now look, I liked this show. It's got a massive budget. The visuals are actually really decent. Godzilla is in it. There is new Titans in it as well. Kurt Russell and Wyatt Russell did really good jobs, but I just wasn't particularly a fan of the juggling timelines. It was cutting between, 2015 and then the 1950s, back and forth. I would have liked maybe the first half of the show to be in the 50s, maybe the back half in present day, but it was just quite jarring to me the way it kept cutting back and forth. And also, this might be a bit of a nitpick, but I would have loved to see more of a tie-in with the New Empire. This only finished like 2 months ago. It was the perfect opportunity to really set up the New Empire, but it is set in 2015, so I understand it's even before Godzilla vs. Kong, so they couldn't really do much there, but it is a decent show, but not as good as the movies. So that brings us to the movies, and in 5th place is Godzilla. Now please, before you start hating, no, this is not a bad movie, and just because it's in 5th does not mean that I don't like it. I love this movie, and this for me is the most grounded easily of the Monsterverse, and I will never forget how scary they made Godzilla in this. The Halo jump scene with the soldiers coming down, I think it's into Hawaii, and we see Godzilla, we see his scales, we see just his sense of scale as well, just gives you goosebumps. And actually, props to the team that edited the teaser trailer for that, because they genuinely made the first teaser trailer for Godzilla 2014 so scary that it was actually just the first thing that came into my head when I was ranking these. I was like, God, they actually did a great job with that. But I loved the movie. I loved how it set up the Monsterverse really nicely, and genuinely just the build up, the tension, the anxiety before Godzilla is properly revealed is so well done, and I'm so here for it. In 4th place is Kong Skull Island. Again, this is probably going to be number 1 on some people's lists. It probably should be higher in your opinion, but for me, I'm putting it here purely because I think the rest of the movies coming ahead of this are a little bit better. But the cast is absolutely stacked in this. You got Tom Hiddleston, Brie Larson, Samuel L. Jackson, John C. Reilly. It is amazing going back to Skull Island again. Kong's sense of scale again was portrayed really well. I loved the whole lore to the island. I loved the visuals in this movie. I loved the action. The action is just absolutely insane, and it also set up an absolutely killer post-credit scene that tied in Godzilla and Kong together. And this was the first time that we actually realized that these two titans were set in the same universe, and obviously set the stage for what is to come. Kong Skull Island is brilliant. It's phenomenal. If you've not seen it, you need to give it a watch. But in 3rd place is Godzilla vs. Kong. This is just pure epic, isn't it? It's just so badass. Seeing these two titans go head to head was something that was built up to for a few years in the Monsterverse, really. It was something we had to kind of wait for, and this came out kind of still in COVID times. I remember this actually came out on digital, and I actually watched it at home, so I never got to see this in the cinema. I think it might have even been higher in my list if I had seen it in cinema, because the way it sticks in my head is that I seen this in pandemic times. But seeing these two fight, seeing these two face off was just so epic. Mechagodzilla as well is in this movie, and I actually loved this design and the way it was weaved into the story. I know a lot of people probably don't like the way it was done, but for me, loved it. And this movie is just exactly what I want from a Monsterverse movie. It's over the top. It's two titans fighting each other. The humans do take a back seat, which is good compared to some of the other Monsterverse movies where the humans are front and center. But Godzilla vs. Kong is just peak cinema. I love it. Every time I watch it, it just hits the same. It's fantastic. Now in 2nd place is Godzilla King of the Monsters, my favorite solo movie in the Monsterverse. Now this is probably the worst rated Godzilla movie out of like all of these Monsterverse movies, and it's probably very divisive. You either love it or you hate it, but me, I am on the love it side. King Ghidorah, Rodan, Mothra, Godzilla. It just was just everything I wanted in a Monsterverse movie. And actually, some of the cinematography in this is absolutely incredible, right? I'm going to put some screenshots up here. You'll see, especially the final shot of Godzilla after defeating King Ghidorah and the rest of the Titans bow to him. It really made you understand how powerful Godzilla is and how much he's looked up to by the rest of the Titans. He is feared, and this movie did a great job of showing us that. It's also quite dark as well, and of course, one of the best things about the movie is nuclear Godzilla. We got to see him go absolutely Super Saiyan mode in this movie, and that for me is just absolutely incredible. Now, the humans did have a bit of a stupid story, if I'm honest with you. Millie Bobby Brown and Vera Farmiga are in it, and yeah, someone said actually in a different ranking video that I watched that Vera Farmiga looks like she actually has a gun to her head in this entire movie. She doesn't want to be there, but I mean, I just prefer the monsters in this. I loved King Ghidorah, especially his entrance scene where he comes out of the volcano. Just absolutely peak. And that leaves one movie, which is number 1, Godzilla and Kong: The New Empire. Now look, you're probably going to be like, recency bias, the fella's only seen it and he's putting it first for that reason. But no, this is everything I want in a Monsterverse movie. It gave us many Titans that I won't say about, but many Titans, which is good. Not just one, not just two. There is a lot of Titans in this movie. It is focused fully on the Titans as well. Kong is the lead and Godzilla is a supporting lead, but the Titans are front and center, and the battles in this movie are just incredible. The Scar King versus Godzilla and Kong battle in Rio. If you've seen it, you'll know what I mean. There might be some twists and secrets in that final fight that I'm kind of trying to allude to right now without giving spoilers, and it's just fantastic. I loved the lore that they did in Hollow Earth. I loved the human storyline here, was actually really good. Very touching, but also didn't take full center stage. And look, soundtrack was banging. Visuals are so impressive. You know the way I said that I loved some shots in King of the Monsters? I also loved some shots in The New Empire. Now obviously I can't show them because the movie's just out, but some Godzilla shots are incredible, some Kong shots are incredible, and some of the two of them together with maybe some other surprises are insane. So that is my Monsterverse ranking. Let me know yours down below. And remember, as I said in the start, and I said multiple other times, this is just my ranking. So you will disagree, or maybe you will agree. Who knows? Drop your ranking in the comments below, and I can't wait to see your thoughts.